And 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, and welcome to the Blurring the Lines podcast. And I'm your host, Adam Bell. And joining me, as always, is my co-host, Peter Nikolaidis. How you doing today, Peter?
All in all, I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
I also am doing well. It's
excellent.
Pleasant here, temperature-wise, and Christmas is right around the corner.
It is unpleasant here, temperature-wise. Temperature. I take that back. Temperature-wise, it is pleasant here in Medford, Massachusetts. Today, it is approximately 57 degrees. However, I received a text message from the city of Medford, which was backed up by an alert previously sent by Amazon, letting me know that the National Weather Service had issued a high winds warning, which was also backed up by all of my deck furniture getting blown across the yard.
Oh, nice.
Including a small portable hibachi grill, a couple of chairs, table, trash bin, everything's just so there you go. Yeah. Temperature-wise, it's nice though.
At least you still got to retain it. It didn't blow it out of your property.
Correct. And thankfully, so far, my patio umbrella, I have like a 9 or 10 footer or so. I think it's 9 feet. I don't remember. It's big enough that I could parachute with the thing if I had to, and possibly survive the fall. That is lashed down tight as a result of the last winds that we have. So far, it hasn't blown away. So fingers crossed that stays the case.
I'm assuming it's closed.
Yeah. If not, I think my entire deck would have blown away.
Yeah.
Oh man. So what's happening on your end?
This week I got a new air conditioner. Well, I got a new heat pump air conditioning unit in my office space.
Home office or
my home office space? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the other unit was failing, and I just couldn't. This is the thing that we sell our clients: don't wait for something to fail. Make good maintenance choices, because it's cheaper to replace something before it breaks than waiting until it does break and you do it in an emergency. So
there you go. It's better to replace it on your terms, right? Now, here's the thing. I have, so at my place in Vermont, I have an on-demand natural gas hot water heater, which we've discussed on numerous occasions, and as of 2 months ago, appears to be working fine. I say that because I have not been to my house in Vermont in almost exactly 2 months. I was last there on October 21st. So I'll be heading up again tomorrow, and hopefully to have hot water, which will be nice. But I had lots of problems with it, still under warranty. So I'm like in the, hey, you guys come fix it phase. At my place in Medford, I have the old school hot water tank. And I guess most of them have like a 7-year lifespan, but some of them are good for like 11 years from what I've been told. Because my plumber said like, oh yeah, that thing's on borrowed time. It's 7 years or whatnot. But then I heard later that there's an either or, they'll either last 7 years or longer. So I know I'm on borrowed time on that one. But when I've asked people, like, I've asked my plumber, hey, do you want to replace it? He's like, nah, just wait. Don't worry about it.
Wait till it fails.
Yeah. So it's like, I know it's going to fail. It's not the end of my world if I'm without hot water, right? I won't be happy not having hot water. Worst case, I can, plead with my neighbor or my best friend, or if it fits my schedule, just flee to Vermont for a little while, ironically, going to Vermont to have hot water, which has been such a problem in the past, right? So anyway.
Let me ask you something. Do you cut off your water when you travel?
I do not. That's an interesting idea. What I have done is I placed a water sensor on the floor next to the hot water heater. But no, I have not. Because I think when they develop leaks, they tend to start small, right? It's not like all of a sudden Titanic hitting iceberg, but I could be wrong. I guess I'm banking on it being starting as a trickle and my having the water sensor placed appropriately. Are you going to tell me otherwise?
Yeah. So whenever I travel, I mean, even if I'm going for a long weekend, I cut the water off. I mean, to my house, because I have had water leaks, and it has cost me a lot of money for this water leak. Because my last water leak on my hot water heater, it turns out it wasn't my hot water heater that was leaking, it was my expansion chamber. So my expansion chamber kind of broke down a little bit and started leaking, and it was actually a slow leak that turned into a fast leak in a very short period of time.
Interesting. Okay. Okay.
But I also have the water sensors too, because I've had leaks and I want to at least know that something has occurred.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you if you had been bitten and that was why you were, this proactive.
Yeah.
Most people I know don't do that. I do know that my aunt habitually unplugs like everything from the electric outlet.
See, I don't do that.
So it's kind of funny how some people do something, some people do other things, right? Yeah.
Yeah, because, well, like I said, I've had things fail while I'm gone. And so here's an interesting thing too. So in my house, I have a cutoff. So where my water comes into my house, I have a gate valve, which is not a ball valve. So the gate valve is you turn, and what it's doing is pushing a little gate and it's closing the pipe.
Yep.
Gate valves go bad after time. They don't actually cut the water off anymore. So my gate valve, I can close it completely tight, but I can drain my system, but there's still going to be a trickle of water coming through. So I'm like, okay, well, I know this. So let's go to the street to my meter and cut it off at the meter.
Okay.
Is that a gate valve? Also doesn't cut off is the street meter. So even though it was cut off at the street and cut off at the cutoff valve inside the house, I was still getting water in my pipes because there's enough pressure to push it through. Well, it just so happened that my gate valve or my ball valve at the street, it died. Because I was checking it, because even though I still cut it off at the street, even though I know that it doesn't completely stop it, it would prevent it. It reduces the pressure. It's not going to keep pushing through. Well, I went to the street and my meter box was full of water. And it's not full of water normally. Even when it's raining, it doesn't fill up with water.
Okay.
So I called them, and my utility company, they promptly changed it. No problems, no questions asked. They changed it. They fixed it. Now my water cuts off.
Hey. Is that the kind of thing where if damage had been caused by that, could you claim that they were at fault and get reimbursed in some way?
I don't know. I just don't know.
Yeah. I'm just wondering who's at fault, who's responsible for that sort of thing.
So. Well, since that, I would assume that the lawyer could argue that it's their responsibility because that is their equipment and they own it, they fix it, they maintain it. And if it doesn't shut off, I suppose it could be argued. But you never know with the paperwork that I signed up with them as a client that if I agreed to,
bingo. That's exactly what I was going to say, is like you might have waived your rights to, whatever as part of, using their service. So, All right. Oh, there you go.
Hmm. So,
Ah,
hey,
cool.
it does match. So I've even got my Maverick and Goose 2020 shirt on. Did you seen that before?
I have not.
Maverick and Goose for president. Bring back that love and feeling.
I mean, we could use a couple of veterans in the White House as opposed to draft dodgers, but isn't half of that ticket dead?
Well, yeah, but I mean, sometimes a dead guy's better.
Uh, Given a choice between a dead guy and our current vice president, you know? Hmm.
Well,
Hmm.
it could be like a prequel. Since they're both fictional characters, it could be a prequel.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. All right. Cool. So let's talk a little bit about. I mean, I'll inject something. I didn't have a chance
Hmm.
to update the thing, but um, uh, small businesses often have healthcare, and and even if you're not in a part of a small business, but if you have a workplace health insurance plan, you may have an HSA or an FSA.
Right.
And we've talked about HSAs before, right? And
Hmm.
what I've done in the past is um, I leave my HSA and it rolls over into a retirement plan,
Hmm.
which I can then self manage. And I've got that on an aggressive, you know, index fund tracking kind of thing.
Right.
But if you have an FSA, they're a little different. And, I'm no expert on these things, but the long and short of it is FSA, flexible savings account, or flexible spending account. If
Hmm.
you don't spend that money is yours to spend on eligible things. And if you don't do so by the end of the year, you lose that money. HSAs are, if you don't spend it, it goes, you can roll it over and it can either accrue interest or hopefully you have the option to turn it into a retirement account, which you can then direct and not just leave it as a savings account. I found out that Altra, my favorite running shoes manufacturer,
Hmm.
qualifies for HSA and FSA funds.
Hmm.
I could very quickly blow away a lot of my savings. So it took some
Nice.
doing, but I was able to go onto the Ultra site, and it was a little bit misleading because they sent an email and they said all of our running shoes are HSA eligible. So I picked a set of them out that was on sale. I had not bought it during Black Friday. I successfully resisted all the way through Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all the hype leading up to it, because I'm like, look, I know how this works. They're trying to unload their old models. The new models are going to come out on like day after Cyber Monday, right?
Hmm.
Sure enough, new models are out now. And a couple of them came out before Black Friday, but they weren't on sale.
Yeah.
So they have a new version of the Escalante, the Speedwork ones, the model I use for Speedwork, made with smart wool. So, they're made of this merino wool, so they automatically wick away moisture and stuff.
Hmm.
They also released a new version of the Taurin, which is what I use for my regular, long and recovery runs, which are made with Gore-Tex.
Okay.
And I'm like, I could really use one or both of these. I would really like these.
Hmm.
Um, and then Ultra emailed me, I think it was like day after Cyber Monday, and they're like, hey, you missed these sales, but we'll give you $30 off something. And I'm like, oh, $30 off any purchase. That includes the new models.
Uh-huh.
And I can pull that out of my HSA. That's great. So I tried to do it. And at that point, they're like, no, you can't buy it. That doesn't apply to all models. It's only these select ones. I was like, Urgh. So I emailed Ultra, and in their response was half helpful, half not helpful. First off, they're like, oh, we're sorry you have problems. I'm like, okay, yes, but are you going to fix the lie?
Yeah.
I was like, you should at least update your messages, right? So but then the place where they got helpful was like, place the order, send us proof of shipping, and we'll give you a $30 refund. It's like, oh, okay, I'll
All
take
right.
that.
Hmm.
So just yesterday I got a pair of the Ultra Taurin GTX,
Uh-huh.
So I now have Gore-Tex models. So if I was running out in the rainy weather that we have today,
Yeah.
my feet would probably be dry and happy right now. So
Well, that'd be cool.
yeah. So, or warm, as the case may be.
Yeah.
As
What's
it
funny-
happens, I'm not running. But real quick, today is a rest day for me. But I'll tell you why
perfect.
after. So carry on. What's funny?
Well, you mentioned FSA versus HSA. I was like, is my account an HSA or an FSA? And turns out it's HSA. So that's good.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. Well, of course, things have changed since we did talk about it. So you very well could have, been an HSA. So I wasn't really inclined to spend it, but because of my current situation, I had two different HSAs, and it's a little weird. And I thought I had all set it all up so that nothing bad would happen, but I could have possibly contributed to two, which is a task for my CPA to straighten
Unravel.
in a month or so. And he will give me dirty looks and groan at me, and I will be like, you're getting paid. Suck it up.
Yeah. You're not doing this out of the kindness of your heart.
Exactly. But as it happens, today is a rest day because tomorrow I have my first time trial since I don't know how many months it's been now. But it's only a 5K, 30-ish minute time trial, not a 10K. Because I think I am going to target either a 10K or half marathon race this spring.
Okay.
And I'm going to see what I can do about getting my time down. So I'm going to try doing some honest to goodness speed work for the first time. Speed work in the sense that, with a ultra, as I've said many times on this podcast, I'm quoting the greats, it's 1 part running, 1 part walking, 1 part eating. Ideally in a 10K and a half, there's all running. Maybe eating some gels or a bar or something as you're running, but you're not stopping and taking breaks, and hopefully you're not walking.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting, because the last time I even ran just a half marathon was about a year ago, last November in Manchester, New Hampshire. Even then, I took some walking breaks, which I had never done in previous short races like that before. Short, only 13 miles.
Yeah.
So. But my thought is then from there that I will probably train for and run the authentic marathon in Greece in next November. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see how that works out.
Are you going to run it naked?
No. But if you can get me a 50 pound shield and a spear, I will carry that from Marathon to Greece. How's that sound? To Athens, I should say, from Marathon to Athens. Yeah. So, there you go. All right, back to you, sir.
Oh, let's see. So I found a little bit of Amazon theft on my credit card today. Well,
go on. I have comments, but I'm gonna do what I need to do first before I.
Well, so just to be clear, Amazon was not stealing from me from my credit card. So I have one credit card that all it does is pay for my online bills, like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon. For Amazon subscription, not buying things on Amazon, just subscription, things like that.
Okay.
Well, so I have a regular Prime number that comes out of that every month. So it's not unusual for me to see Amazon on there, but I kept seeing like a $25.73. But it was always different. It was never like the same number over again. It was never very much. So I asked my wife, I was like, are you using this credit card for these purchases? And she said, no. Well, actually, she said one time, she said, yes, I did have one of my subscriptions, like a vitamin subscription that was set to recur. And she's like, yeah, and I changed it. So I'm like, okay, no problem. So I won't see any more of these. I still got more. And this month I got I got one charge on the 5th and then 3 charges on the 15th. I'm like, okay, something's going on here. This is not Amazon Prime subscription. This is not my, I confirmed with my wife that she hadn't done anything. And so fortunately I was able to, I called Regions Bank and got them to cut it off and replace the card. And now I've got to re-sign up for all those services that go through there with the new credit card that I don't have yet. So I mean, that's a first world problem for sure. But these guys, whoever this guy or gal or organization or whoever they were, they were stealing smart. They were doing, little purchases, little this and that. And it wasn't flat rate. So they weren't like buying gift cards. If it had been like a $20 gift card, you're like, oh, well, I know I didn't buy a gift card, but just, all right, well, I need groceries for this. So I'm going to get this on this slip, this Dum-Dum's credit card that I've got.
Yep. Taking your time, playing the long game.
Playing the long game.
So yeah, banking on the fact that lots of people don't ever look at their finances and their credit cards. And, if you're doing enough volume, that's going to fly under radar for a while.
So fun little Amazon credit card theft. Got that done.
Well, that reminds me that I have been a little bit lax myself in doing my monthly review of my credit cards. I just kind of glance at them every now and then, and especially when there's a vacation involved and travel, like I've been doing for a while. I take a little closer look at things, just making like, whoa, why is my credit card twice what it usually is? Oh, yeah, because I bought tickets at a hotel and stuff. Okay, fine, I get it. But I haven't been, giving. It's like I've been waiting for a significant purchase to be the trigger for myself to. So while you were explaining what you just went through, I did add myself a reminder to review on a monthly basis my credit card statements and just remember to not get too sloppy about that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And dear listener, you're welcome also. So you should send your thanks to Adam at blurringthelinespodcast.com.
So what's your opinion on Microsoft's Outlook app on your phone?
Funny you should ask, because as of I think a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if I can say that it's my primary email app that I'm using, but I am using it regularly now. Now I have had jobs where it was a requirement. They turned off access to, say, Apple Mail, and you had to use the the Outlook app because you have controls, right? You can lock down and prevent things like screenshots and data exfil, etc. But in general, I was like, okay, so that's the, for this specific contract or employer, I have to use Outlook, but for my own stuff, I can use mail or whatnot. For my personal, since I host my email at Fastmail, I have the Fastmail app because there are certain things that you can only do when certain functions only work when you're using the native client.
Right.
So Outlook, for instance, I don't think, let's see, Apple Mail, if I recall correctly, Mail on iOS still can't snooze an email, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
But Outlook can. And so I like that feature. Meanwhile, Outlook cannot snooze an email in an IMAP client like Fastmail.
Right.
So if I want to snooze something, I have to go to the native app. So what I am finding, though, is I'm using more and more Outlook for anything work-related, Fastmail for anything personal related.
Yeah.
And since I have all my Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, Live, etc. accounts funneling into my Fastmail account, it's pretty much a separation, business and personal. What about you?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I use, because Microsoft, they want you to use on your mobile devices. They want people to use the mobile app. even though they still support the IMAP with the native Apple Mail, but they want you to use it. So I don't fight a vendor when they say, this is the way we want you to use our product. No, I'm going to use it the way that you don't recommend it. No.
Yep.
So this is what Microsoft recommends. And I have a hard time convincing clients that they should use Outlook. I'm like, this is the vendor guidance. This is what they recommend is the best experience you're going to have. Do you not want the best experience that you can have?
Yep. No, I mean, some people are just ornery and will want to, just, this is what I want. I'm like, okay, you can't get it with this,
You can't do it. Well, I used to be able to. You're absolutely right.
Yep. And they changed it.
They changed it.
Yeah.
Why would they change it? It doesn't matter why.
Yep. I was talking with someone this weekend on the topic of finances, and they noticed recently that their credit score had taken a nosedive.
Mm-hmm.
And on the topic of watching, looking at your credits and stuff, and they started to explain that, well, they were going to do this, but then they had to, this circumstance happened and this happened and this, and I was like, that's great. This is now, I'm not Peter, your friend anymore. I'm now Peter, your financial advisor. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, oh, well, I want to do this, but this and that. I'm like, that's understood. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Right. I understand. It's good that you know why you are where you're at. Right. And you can talk about all excuses, justifications, validations, whatever. It doesn't matter. What we're talking about is how to fix your credit score.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing is, the only real black spot that I could find on their credit rating was they had this $129 charge from Comcast at some point, which went unpaid.
Mm-hmm.
And that took their score from something in the 700s to 451.
Oh, wow. One bill for a...
That's all I could see. That looked really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were student loans that were in forbearance, so that shouldn't be a thing. And, there was some other stuff, but I was like, if that's it, make that thing go away. And they're just like, yeah. And somebody called collections agency called and they said they could make it go away for like $60. I was like, just do it. Just do it. Make it go away. And they're like, well, yeah, but then I'm giving in to I'm like, yes,
you owe it.
Just make it go away, right? Well, they weren't sure. It might have been I think it was a possibility it was a roommate situation, but blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, it's $60. Just, would you pay $60 to restore your credit so you can get that new apartment that you currently can't rent?
Yeah.
That's your application fee, So, sorry, I just got an urgent message for my 2:00, which apparently is being canceled. I have to call it 2:00 and they just lost power. So they're texting me now to see if I can move my appointment to Sunday.
Okay. So while you're looking at that, I'm going to give you,
I'm back.
And you're back.
You're back to you.
So recently, I got the new iPhone 17 Pro.
Oh, Pro? You said Pro?
Oh yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
My own interrupted. Right. I was gonna say you always do Pro, right?
Yeah. There's just a negligible, in my opinion, a negligible price difference, and I just always do the Pro.
Interesting. So I can't remember, but I thought this time around, if I recall. This time around, I think the Verge recommendation, like the generic go-to, was just by the iPhone 17 because they felt that the differences between the Pro and the regular were not really warranted unless you really need the blah, blah, blah. Similar to how they recommended the iPhone SE as the default line as opposed to the series now.
Hmm. See, I wanted all the features of the camera. I want the LiDAR. I want the full 3 cameras in depth,
Yep.
and so for me that was it. But the the primary motivator is my wife's phone was starting to fail. The battery was starting to fail, and all of my phones start with me. I get the new phone, and then I give it to my wife or my 2 daughters. Whichever one has the oldest phone gets my last phone. So I've always got the latest phone, and then we're on like a 4-year cycle. So everybody has a phone that's 4 years is the oldest that they'll get.
Yeah, which I have found 4 years can be a little frustrating for me.
Mhm.
But your wife and daughters might be different.
Yeah,
And do both daughters get phones?
both daughters do.
So does the youngest get the oldest, crappiest phone, and the older one gets the better one, and the wife gets the second best, and you get the best? Is that how it works?
It just alternates. Whoever has the greatest need, usually. I mean, as long as they're not within they're in the 3-year cycle of how long they'll have their phone.
Mm-hmm.
So if one of them has a greater need, like it's cracked or broken or the battery's dying or something, then
You can just admit that you have favorites. You can just say that.
well, ironically, my wife is my favorite, but she wants her phone changed the least. She hates to change phones. She doesn't want that. So typically my daughters end up with a newer phone and my wife gets changed last, because we're actually changing her from a 12 to a 16, which was my old one.
I'm trying to remember the biggest bumps I made. So I had the iPhone 3GS, the 4S, the 5S, 8. Where did I go from the 8? I don't know if did I have a 12?
You got a 10, didn't you?
10.
The NXS.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yes, a 10. And then from a 10, did I go to the 14? Did I have a 12? Wow, I'm at the point I don't even remember all my iPhones anymore. I used to. I had a 14. I don't remember what I had in between that, though. If I had a 12 or whatnot, I'd have to look up. Now I'm curious. So anyway, sorry, carry on.
Mm-hmm. So when I changed my phone last, and when I changed my daughter's last, it was really a booger to get it the cell phone activated. So everything, all the apps, all that stuff transferred. I just did a phone to phone transfer, and as long as there's not a big OS gap, it's really an easy thing to do. But the eSIM phone numbers wouldn't transfer. And mine was a little tricky because I had my Apple Watch, and so technically I had a second phone number associated with my phone. I didn't really know it, but it was there. And when the migration happened, it swapped the eSIM. So eSIM number 1 on my old phone and 2 got swapped when it came over. So then I couldn't make any calls from it using the SIM. And so my phones are on a business account. You can only call business accounts during business hours. So you can't call at 8 o'clock at night. So I had that little snafu. So, I mean, so it goes. But so with my wife's, I was fully prepared to be able to call in if they had support problems. But because she only had one SIM, it flew right over. No problem. Said, do you want to change your number? And it asked me when I wanted. It said, do you want to change your number over to this phone? I said, yes. And same process, but it just worked great. So
yeah.
Thank you, Verizon, for fixing the glitch.
It's nice that some things are working well. I have had horrific Verizon issues transferring phone numbers, all of which have been covered on either this or the Friends with Brews or other Scott Wilsey podcasts. And often the problem has just come down to try again next week.
Yeah.
but just be aware during this time, you're going to be without a phone for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So fun times.
So so I sent you and Scott a quick message about Landman on Paramount Plus.
Now, here I will say, probably coincidentally, I did just get an ad for Landman.
Oh yeah, they're pushing it right now.
Right. Unlike how I mentioned to Scott and I think to you the other day, I mentioned, I think it was on this podcast, about how it would be nice if, referencing an old Mitch Hedberg skit, like when you eat food, if you eat junk food, but you eat a carrot with it, by the time it gets to your stomach, the carrot would say, "It's okay. He's with me."
Yeah.
Then I have not mentioned Mitch Hedberg or looked for Mitch Hedberg or played Mitch Hedberg in years. Certainly haven't mentioned him to anybody and stuff in months. Next morning, YouTube suggests, "Hey, here's a Mitch Hedberg playlist." But no, they're not listening.
No, they're not listening.
And so yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I've finished the first season, which was good, and now I'm caught up. And unfortunately, I have to wait each week now to get my next episode.
Well, I just finished Star Trek: Strange New Worlds.
Oh yeah, how is that?
I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
Probably it's in my top 5 favorite Star Trek's series. Right?
Is it on Paramount Plus?
It is. Yep.
Okay, so
Yep.
we're gonna watch
all
that.
Trek. As far as I know, all Trek is on Paramount Plus.
Okay.
Yep.
And can you watch it by itself? I mean, we are Trek. I mean, we haven't watched all every Trek, production.
Yep.
Voyager,
Yep. You can watch it standalone.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that there are some callbacks and Easter eggs that you won't get, but you don't know, you won't miss anything. So it definitely can be watched standalone. It builds on Star Trek Discovery, which was the previous modern day series, which I did not care for. I watched the first season. I thought it was kind of okay. Didn't really care for it after that, though. A bunch of reasons. Anyway, I won't go into that. I thought Strange New Worlds. Brave New Worlds was the 4th Captain America MCU movie. Strange New Worlds is Star Trek. I like Strange New World a lot better, and it features, so it's essentially the Enterprise under Christopher Pike, who was Kirk's successor.
Right.
The thing is, like, whenever I see
a predecessor.
Predecessor, sorry, predecessor.
Okay.
Before Kirk, before the 5-year mission. The funny thing is that they cast Anson Mount as Captain Pike. He could have just as easily, and I would argue maybe should have been Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
Because he looks so much more like Shatner.
Yeah.
And the guy who actually plays Kirk doesn't look anything like Shatner, So I thought that was kind of funny. But it's good. I enjoyed it. Some of the episodes, I think at worst, some of the episodes are okay, but most of them are good to great. That said, if I think in general, I would have to rate Next Generation higher than Strange New Worlds.
Okay.
So, and Deep Space Nine. I think Deep Space Nine and Next Gen might be, in my opinion, tied in the number 2 slot. I would put Strange New Worlds in the number 3 slot, and after that, I think either the original series, maybe the original series and Voyager might be tied, and under that Discovery, and under that Enterprise, and at the top, Lower Decks.
Okay.
And if you haven't seen Star Trek: The Lower Decks because you were turned off because it was a comedy and it was a cartoon like I was, do what I did, suck it up, get over it. It is so good.
Have you read uh, Make It So, Patrick Stewart's book?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Did you
Yep.
listen to it on Audible or did you read it?
I did. I got it on. I had it both actually. I had it on the Kindle and I was listening to it as well. So
Yeah.
I had both. Yep.
That was pretty good.
It was good. I liked it. The only thing I didn't like about the Audible was, I mean, Patrick Stewart is in his 80s right now, and his voice is definitely reflective of that.
Not as strong as it used to be.
Yeah. That said, I would take Patrick Stewart's narration over anyone else, possibly only if like Ian McKellen chose to narrate Patrick Stewart's biography. Could that be, acceptable?
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I had no knowledge that the only career I knew from him was from Star Trek. I overheard like, well, he does Shakespeare too, that was like the extent of it. He does Shakespeare too. No, the iceberg was Shakespeare, and Captain Picard was the tip of his career. I mean, not that it was the apex of his career, but that was where I caught him. He had a long career before I ever heard of Captain Jean-Luc Picard.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
So he didn't have enough credit in my eyes until I, got the whole story. It's like, oh wow, this guy's really done a lot. Yeah. So that was cool. So last night we watched A Very Jonas Christmas. You know who the Jonas Brothers are?
I should.
They're a boy band. They're three brothers. It's a boy band.
I should not.
You should. Well, it was like I saw it and it looked goofy and funny. Like these they were going to have a good time, and it was a funny movie. And it turns out it was. They poked fun at themselves, at each other, and it was a really funny, goofy story with them. And it was completely predictable, and they even went on the front of it, like, well, we know all Christmas movies end like this, and this is what the plot, so even though you knew where it was going, you knew what was the ending was going to be, it was still goofy and fun along the way. So
okay.
If you want to impress your girlfriend, then you can say, hey, I'm really hip, I know these Jonas Brothers, this is a funny one.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you. I read this morning. I didn't read it. This morning, I watched a YouTube video of one of my favorite YouTubers, Steve Shives, who talks about politics, DC Comics, and Star Trek.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, I need to subscribe to this guy's channel. And I think I actually pay. I think I've joined the membership now. This morning, his thing was a Batman, basically a Christmas Carol with Batman as Scrooge.
Ah, okay.
And it's pretty good. Now, I didn't actually read the comic because I'd never even heard of it, but he essentially, he doesn't go through and just read it line by line. He'll quote a few things, but he says, and then Batman shows up here, and then, here, and then he goes and he finds Bob and traces Bob home, to his little son, Tim, and yada, yada, yada.
Oh, but
yeah. I kind of want to get the book now, at least in digital form, if that's an option. But it's pretty funny because he essentially, Robin is the ghost of Christmas past.
Okay.
And because, the dead Robin. The presumed to be Jason Todd, the Robin who was killed by the Joker, right? So, and then I forget, who's who? I think Superman is the ghost of Christmas present, and Catwoman is future, if I remember correctly. I think that's how it works. I think pretty sure that's how it worked. But it was pretty good. I liked it. So it was all like, oh, that's kind of cool. I've got to see if I can get myself a copy of that. So
cool. So
okay,
got a question, a hypothetical question, of course. So Amazon affiliates, you know what an Amazon affiliate is. It's somebody who recommends.
I wish I could tell you that I was an Amazon affiliate, Adam, but I'm not.
Oh, well, those of us who are, we can brag from afar,
Mhm. Did
No,
I tell you what happened? Why I'm not?
I think it was a mix up in emails or mix up,
Domains.
domain.
When I set up to be an Amazon affiliate, I specified that I would be providing links from yogawithpeter.com.
Yeah, okay.
Not expecting I would be talking and blogging about running stuff on Nikolaidis.com.
Yeah, I've heard they're really picky about that.
Yeah. Like, oh, you had 0 qualified links. And I was like, son of a.
So the question that I'm posing is, do you think that Amazon affiliates are really good for products? Meaning, are they only recommending products that will sell or products that they really like?
That's a question.
Sort of. I think I know the answer.
I mean, I'm not biased at all, but I think they're whatever they can get money on, and that's only going to be things that they can sell.
Mm-hmm. It's not the things that they like themselves. Because I mean, for years, the things that we've put up for our nifties or whatever are things that we really recommended, not
things that we also went outright purchased and used, as opposed to like, oh, we can get people to click on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that leads me to my nifty. So somehow, the Amazon affiliate, whether it's good or bad or whatever, they have been pushing this book called, and I know you've seen it because I've shown up on mine. And now that I've said it out loud here in a second, it will show up on yours, is The Ultimate Guide to Rebuilding a Civilization, a book, like a hardback cover book with paper pages, inspirational science book for adults. And it is pretty cool. And there's all these affiliate videos out there. And what I like about it is I like old maps that look like works of art. There's a water, a sea serpent, humped and going out of the, in and out of the water in the ocean. And the compass, looks like this really cool hand drafted compass, and everything's just beautiful. So it looks like that book is, doing all these illustrations, and they're kind of that old school artistic drawing, and I think it looks pretty cool. The stinking book's $112 though, and I do want one, but I'm not going to buy one right now, and I'm not going to ask somebody to get it for me for a Christmas present. But I thought that was a pretty cool book.
Okay. All right. And now, is this in the prepper vein, or is this what's the idea?
I guess you could argue it's in the prepper vein, but I don't. It seems to be a serious book, meaning it does, one of the things it talks about is how to make a coffee machine and how to filtrate water and how
That's
to start
serious.
how to start a fire.
Not the water part, the coffee part, except that you need water for coffee. So
you need water for coffee. You got to clean water for coffee, or you got to have a fire to boil it. You can make dirty water into drinkable coffee water if you boil it.
Coffee really is just a form of dirty water.
Yeah, it really is.
All right, we have to stop talking about this though, because we're going to enter copyright infringement with the Friends with Brews podcast.
Okay, yeah, you don't want to do that. But it looks like it does have, really informative information. Now, is it a prepper guide? Does it show 50 ways to start fire? No. I'm sure it shows a couple ways of things, using a bow, using this, using that, how to make machines and steam engine, things like that, which I think is cool. And, if I were going to buy real prepper guides, I would buy prepper guides, and they wouldn't be nearly as interesting as the cool drawings. you know.
I mean, maybe there's a market. Maybe you need to release a prepper guide with some cool drawings.
No, that's a good point.
Just saying.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty nifty. The we hit, oh yeah. So in kind of a last kind of popcorn thing, I'm getting my old truck renovated or restored, not renovated.
Talk to me about that, because I was trying to remember how the story turned out. I remember the truck went to the truck took a trip down Route 66.
Mm-hmm.
You lost your dog, your car, your wife, your beer, whatever. Like it became a blues song. Your pickup. It was a country song because you lost your pickup truck.
Yeah.
What happened exactly? I know we covered the story personally, privately. I know we talked about it, and I think we covered it on the podcast too. But give us the TLDR, which is too long, don't recollect version.
Yeah. So it went. We researched a guy that does truck restorations. He's been doing it for 20 years, and he's outside of Vegas, not quite in Vegas, but you got to fly to Vegas. Vegas is the nearest big city to him. And so we had our truck hauled out there, delivered him a big old fat check, and then started paying monthly payments on him restoring the truck. And that it went out there in October. November, I asked for pictures. He didn't have pictures. December, I asked for pictures. He didn't have pictures. He said, yeah, right now the marketing person is working on putting together the picture book, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, perfect. So I'm ready to see pictures. January, I still don't have any pictures. And he schedules a call with me. He says, I need to call you. Tells me he's going bankrupt. And I said, well, what about the money? It's gone. It's gone.
It's gone. Just like that. Okay,
yeah,
great.
It's gone. So the money's gone. So we filed paperwork with the bankruptcy court, but we're not going to see any of that. We're not going to see any money back. But we were able to immediately get the truck back because he had not started anything on it. It's just been sitting there since October.
Mm-hmm.
Got it back, set the truck in the garage, and part of the problem of it going out there is the climate is so dry there. The truck already leaked oil. I mean, it's a 1955 truck. So it leaked a lot of oil, but sitting out there in the dry, all the engine seals became worse. So it started leaking. It was like watching oil hemorrhage out of an engine when you ran it. And so
a quick question. So my parents, one of their first cars was a 1970. No, it wasn't the first car. I remember when they bought it new. My mom used to drive for a long time a 1977 Volkswagen Beetle.
Mm-hmm.
And it sat for years in a shed outdoors. Mm-hmm. And I had a classmate who was interested in restoring cars.
Mm-hmm.
And he got in it and he pumped the brakes and it blasted dust all over his foot and shins. Is it like that?
Yeah. So you'd look down and you could see the engine running. And you'd see little oil going bloop, 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 bubbling out every time the crankshaft went all the way around. And I looked into tearing the engine apart, or it was a very difficult task to fix what I needed to fix because it wasn't something I could do it if I had lots of time on my hands, and I didn't have lots of time on my hands. So we just sat it, and it sat for 2 years waiting on us to get enough money again saved up so that we could pay for it to be restored. So now it is at a garage in Columbia, Tennessee, called Possum Holler Garage, and I'll send you the link on Facebook. So they are
Possum Holler.
Mm-hmm.
Does it get any more redneck than that?
Yep. When he actually did a truck for George Jones, who's dead now, but he was the possum. But that's not why they named it Possum Holler. It was already named that.
I got nothing, but okay. I have a suggestion. Bleep out the name and don't give him any publicity until he does a good job. and then we can refer people to him, but you might not want to give him the time of day until you know he's worth it.
Yeah. Well, he's been in business, and he's pretty active on Facebook, and he's posting all the projects. And I've seen my truck, and I dropped it off on the 11th, and the entire frame is empty. It's been completely disassembled at this point.
So what you're saying is, so far he has managed to destroy your truck.
Yeah, so far, that's what he's done.
Okay. I'm with you.
And I've sent him money to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Got it. I follow.
But what was fun was, so his shop is 68 miles from my house, and I needed to send him. We hadn't agreed on the price yet, so I had to get. I brought money with him when I dropped off the truck, but I had to send him an additional check. Well, I didn't want to just drop it in the mail. I wanted to track it, so I sent it USPS priority flat rate envelope, which is $10 and gives you tracking, and not a big deal. A lot cheaper than like doing FedEx overnight. But I was like, I just need the tracking on it.
Yep.
That stupid envelope went all the way to North Carolina. I shipped it on Tuesday. I dropped it off at the post office on Tuesday, and it's going to arrive to him today, but it went all the way to North Carolina to go 68 miles from my house.
Now, I want to believe that there's a good reason other than inefficiency.
Yeah.
But I am not a transportation and logistics expert, and therefore I cannot come up with one.
Yeah. I'm with you. I'm like, I'm sure if I asked somebody at the USPS, and they'd say, well, yeah, because the Hendersonville route, that goes to a truck in Nashville, and that truck in Nashville is going to make a round trip all the way to blah, 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 North Carolina, and come back around. And that's why. I'm like, okay, well, okay. Somebody figured that out, but okay. But you didn't get it there in 2 days. I made it in the post office on the Tuesday. Should have arrived Thursday. It's going to arrive on Friday because you took it to North Carolina.
Yep. We in a similar vein. Scott will be coming out to visit me for a week in a couple of months. And I booked his, we're going over, and I was helping him look at the different flights, and here's the options and stuff. And he was wondering, he's like, why would I fly to San Francisco first before coming to you? I'm like, because it's cheaper.
Yeah,
which is funny because I think the direct flight through San Francisco, which it always burns me that's direct. It's like, no, it's not the same. Direct is when there's stops. Nonstop is when there's no stops. So yeah, but if I'm flying directly from one place to another, there shouldn't be any stops. But anyway, whatever. So it's only like an hour longer though. With that stop and he lives in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
So he's flying down to Southern California and then banging a hard left to come to Boston. And that's only an hour less. Maybe it's a faster plane. Maybe it's a slow plane that flies nonstop. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I know it's faster. The Gulf Stream is right there. So the Gulf Stream runs from there to east.
But so I was going to say, or maybe they pick up some currents, so maybe there's some tailwinds that speeds it up. That's possible.
Because when I go to the West Coast, I get home an hour faster than I went out. And it's not because of time change. I mean, the amount of time it takes to get out there. If I fly to San Diego, it's 4 hours. When I fly back, it's 3.
Okay. Good to, yeah, there you go. So maybe that's it.
Yeah. And I heard it was, I mean, the excuse the pilot gave us was the Gulf Stream, but maybe he just likes to pedal down on the way back.
Let's do this. Cool. All right. Well, I don't have any nifties for this week, but because of travel plans and rescheduling and stuff, I do not yet have my new Garmin Forerunner 965. I will be picking that up tomorrow.
Mhm.
So expect a nifty update then.
Nice.
And I think with that, are we good to wrap it up?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, dear listener, if you want to find us, can't say it enough. You already have. You know where to find us. We're here. We're here already. But if you want to find us again, you can find us at blurringthelinespodcast.com. That is where you will see our episode backlog, our archive, how to contact us. Are there links to our socials and our personal websites on that website?
There should be.
There should be. On Blurring the Lines podcast, there should be links to how to get in touch with me and Adam. And so, yeah, there you go. I would say if you're interested in doing that, go do that.
Do that thing.
Yeah. And then once you've done that, push the big red button.
Yeah.